Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik with Figured Out Productions. The following video is a video of some kind, and I hope you enjoy it.
Hey guys, it's Adam here, and today we are celebrating, or mourning, probably more accurately, the 5th birthday or death day of the Nintendo Wii U. First of all, it's been half a decade, which is... like, I remember unboxing it. There was a much younger version of me with no beard and much more frilly hair at the time for some reason that unboxed this thing. And it's so weird to me, man, to think that thing is 5 years old. God, that's creepy. I just did this for the 4th birthday for the PS4. I will be doing the 4th birthday for the Xbox One. And I know a lot of people, the first thing people will ask inevitably is, why? Why did you bother doing this for the Wii U? The console is dead. And it's like, yeah, it is. That's indisputable. It is a dead platform. But I still felt that this was technically the last calendar year of relevance, which is obviously very subjective in this case, of the Nintendo Wii. And I just kind of felt it's worth a video. Let's talk about it. I realistically won't be able to do it on the Nintendo Wii next year, or the Wii U next year, for the same reason I don't talk about the PlayStation 3 every year. I don't talk about the Xbox 360 every year. I talk about the Dreamcast every year, but that's because that's my favorite console of all time. That's a different exception. But I don't traditionally do that with dead consoles. But since this one technically was in there, I wanted to include it. I felt it deserved it. It was a great game console. It is actually my favorite game console of the 8th generation, though. Potentially the Switch might win me out on that one, but time enough to decide that later. But yeah, so basically all I wanted to do was talk about what the last year of it has been like and what the future, in this case, of this thing is. So the last year or so obviously has not been very good. Because it was the death nail year. It's over. It is over. In the last calendar year, meaning from the last birthday, not 2017, but from the last birthday of the Wii U, it has had six physical releases. 6. That's it. Well, technically 7, but we'll get to that. And that's pathetic. But again, it's not meant to be competitive anymore. You remember what I just said about the PS3 and the 360? Both of those consoles are not even close to relevant, but each one of them got more releases than that. Let that sink in. As I mentioned before, the Dreamcast. I do videos on it every year because it's my favorite console. I always celebrate its birthday. It has been dead for years. It came out in 1998. It had almost that many games. That's impressive in that case. Is not impressive in this case. Now that said, it's a weird phenomenon because it makes it sound like I'm just shitting on it, like, oh fuck, it sucks now. It's like, no, I get it. I get why that didn't happen. It's been replaced. Its successor exists, the Nintendo Switch, and its successor is successful. The Switch is killing it. In fact, it's anticipated the Switch will probably sell more consoles in 1 year than the Wii U did in all 5. All 5, and it's no wonder that Nintendo ditched this thing. And from a business standpoint, I can't say I blame them. I was hoping they would improve it as time went on. You know, I made videos like this every year from the 2nd birthday on, saying here's what I think you should do, and some of which they did, most of which they didn't, and why the fuck would they listen to me? They have no reason to, but still, that's what I was hoping for. And very little of that actually happened. That's Nintendo. They go to the beat of their own drum. That's just the way they are, but still, I had hoped for more out of it, but it is over now. So we're just going to kind of mourn the death. So the last year or so, not much occurred, as would be expected. From Nintendo themselves, support-wise, and a little interesting story here, did you know that the last time they updated the firmware on the Nintendo Wii U was January 2016? Not 2017, 2016. That was the last time they did a firmware update. For 18 months, it was untouched. So much so that modders and hackers were like, okay, I guess Nintendo's leaving us alone now. So the Wii U was very heavily cracked this year. A lot of people figured out how to make it not only region-free, but how to, basically let it play pirated content. And there's a lot of infrastructure in that pirated content. I watched some videos on it. It's impressive. Like, you can set up, server software in this thing. Like, there's software that connects to a server, and it will install anything you want, just any of the games that exist. It's rather impressive. Now, Nintendo eventually caught notice of this, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's Nintendo. So they didn't really notice, like nobody gave a shit, like that's how little they cared. But eventually they noticed and decided to take some sense of action. So they did actually update the console a couple of months ago, but the sole purpose of that was not, oh, they're going to just give us region-free support or some new feature or anything like that. All it did was block the exploit people were using to mod their consoles in the first place. That's the extent to which they cared. And on top of that, they gave you one game this year, but we'll talk about that shortly. In fact, let's just talk about it right now because there's not much else to say. The Wii U really didn't do anything else this year. So in the last calendar year, like I said, there have technically been 7 games. I have 5 of them here. So let's go over them very quickly in calendar release order. Right after its previous birthday, I mean like a week or 2 after, it got its first release this year, which was Minecraft Story Mode: The Complete Adventures. Not a game I even really particularly cared all that much about. It just technically exists, and this was not the version people really bought. You know, I mean, like it exists on the Xbox One, it exists on the PS4, it exists on the Switch. Even if you're a Nintendo person, you didn't necessarily need this version. Not saying this is a bad version, just saying it didn't really matter. And then this game is interesting for a lot of reasons. This was probably their last. Well, this is probably the last really good third-party release, in my opinion. Shantae, the Half-Genie hero. Now, you can see it came in a bigger box and stuff. This is actually one of the harder Wii U games to find. This was the last game on the Wii U in 2016. If you guys don't remember, and I wouldn't blame you if you don't, last year, Nintendo's official position was NX is coming. It was still called NX at the time. It didn't. The project name. Switch was not the name yet. But no, Wii U is our thing. We really care about Wii U, the future of Wii U. We care a lot. So you're going to have lots of great gaming experiences this holiday on the Wii U. But the only game Nintendo, you know what Nintendo's big game was that winter? Mario Tennis. That's the extent to which they cared. So what they did in an effort to try and get a little more content available for that holiday was to lower a lot of the restrictions to indies, saying, hey, you know what, it's suddenly a lot cheaper to publish on the Wii U than it's ever been, and you don't have to make as many copies. Go ahead, go ahead. Now, most of them came out before the previous birthday. This was like a holdover. But that's why this is one of the bigger games that came out towards the end, was Shantae the Half-Genie Hero. This is not a game Nintendo normally would have allowed on the platform, given that it is just a smaller game, and it probably, you know, was something that they wanted a lower print run on. That's usually Nintendo doesn't allow stuff like that. But in this case, they're like, hey, look, we can advertise there's another game. It's fine. We don't have to make one. That's great. So that's exactly what they did. That said, it's still a cool game and all that stuff. But yeah, good luck finding it. I mean, you'll probably find it on eBay and stuff, but it was not on store shelves particularly long. Then, of course, months went by with nothing. Then the Switch dropped in March. And that's when Nintendo gave us the kiss goodbye on the Wii U. And they did it in grandiose fashion. They gave us the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, it's interesting, as it sounds like I'm shitting on the Wii U. I'm really not. This, like I keep saying, this is my favorite console of this generation. But it is a fascinating case study to basically look at it and be like, look what a horrible year it had. And at the same time, one of them is Game of the Year. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. It's an odd juxtaposition. But yes, Game of the Year, in probably a lot of people's eyes, existed on the Wii U. This game was developed for the Wii U originally. The Switch version was the port. Now, it's because it's Nintendo's first party and the Switch was their new platform, and this is a big title for them. They obviously made additional upgrades and stuff. It wasn't just a simple port. But the point is, it was originally made for this platform, not for the Switch. And they didn't cheat you on that. They could have. They could have said, you know what, fuck it, we're not releasing on the Wii U, we want you to buy a Switch, go buy a Switch. But to those of you who had a Wii U, they gave you that choice to get that same game experience, maybe perhaps minus a couple bells and whistles, but you could have had that same experience on the Wii U. It's still there for all time. You can enjoy Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Wii U for forever. And I know a lot of people who did play it this way because they didn't want to upgrade to a Switch. They didn't want to spend all that money. They just wanted to play this game, and they already had the Wii U. So it was good on Nintendo to do that and not break their word, because they could have. I mean, that's a low bar by just saying, oh, look, you didn't lie. Yay. But, like, that's still technically accurate. And this was, and forever will be, the last game Nintendo themselves developed for the Wii U. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This is the misprint edition that has controller supports listed on it that aren't actually supported. Not that that really matters much. There was a reprint, though. Now, After that, it was pretty much a mystery if we were ever going to get more Wii U games. Nobody really knew. We had hoped so, but third-party developers were never on board with the Wii U throughout its lifespan. And obviously at that point, Nintendo was done. So at that point, we're just like, I don't know. I have no idea. Because even the Wii U didn't even get the sports games. Like I said, PS3 and 360 still get stuff. Mostly it's sports titles, but they still get them. Wii U doesn't. Wii U has 3 sports games on it. And they're all from 2013. Nobody made sports games for the Wii U. Randomly, THQ Nordic came to our rescue and said, hey, you know, Darksiders War Master Edition, we're going to release that on the Wii U. We did it on PS4, we did it on Xbox One, we're going to do it on Wii U, but they did it like way later, to the point where people didn't really believe this was actually going to come out because it kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed, and it's like, why is it being delayed? The game has been done for ages, why is it being delayed? But to their credit, they did release it. It did come out. It was a budget title too. It was only $20 at release. I got it for $15 with Gamers Club Unlocked at Best Buy. So I was like, cool, another Wii U game, great. And it's a good title to have. It's not the usual junk that you get at the end of a console's lifespan. It is actually a worthwhile game, so that was cool. Unfortunately, now we have to get into the junk. Because after that, really, there was nothing on the radar at all. Because at least with this game, there were rumors and murmurs, and there were some listings, but nobody knew if they were up to date. After that, it was a blank slate. Then this summer, we got a random surprise when the movie Cars 3 came out. Disney and WB Games got together and decided to make a Cars 3 video game, and for some reason they made a Wii U version, which is exactly what I have here. Now I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is like some great game, but at least it's a game. It's a racing game. If you like racing games, obviously a kid-friendly racing game. I mean, I'm sure there's worse games out there than this, but this as well was also put on the PS3 and 360. They put this out on everything under the sun. They were just lucky enough to throw it onto the Wii U as well, and I'm glad they did that, so at least we get one more title on it. But after that, there's nothing here. Now, there have actually been 2 games released since then, one of which was and wasn't a surprise. Shortly after this, at E3 2017, Ubisoft announced that Just Dance 2018 would be coming out for the Switch, which didn't surprise anyone. Then they said the Wii U, which was like, oh, that's cool, there's going to be a Wii U version. And then, of course, they said the Wii, and everybody's like, wait, really? You're going to release Just Dance 2018 on the Wii, a console that launched in 2005. You're going to do that? All right. Now, I know because I've read about it before. It turns out that Just Dance, for whatever reason, has a history of selling extremely well on the original Wii. Like, even now, like, still, it does. Which is strange, but it does. So obviously someone at Ubisoft saw that and was like, well, we'll just keep putting it out there. People keep buying it. People have to remember, there's 100 million Wiis out there. There's only 10 million, or about 13 million Wii U's out there. So I would actually make the case it's entirely possible down the line you'll see Just Dance 2019 on the Wii, but possibly not the Wii U. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. So then Just Dance 2018 came out not too long ago, and everybody's like, all right, cool, great, another console where it's like the last games are the Just Dance games, whatever. Japan gave us a little bit of a surprise hit. Square Enix, out of nowhere, like 2 days ago. I mean it. At the time this video comes out, like 2 days ago, Dragon Quest X came out for the Wii U. Right? That's like a big game, but it came out in Japan only on the Wii U. It will not come out on the Wii U in North America or Europe. There is no chance of that happening. But over there, it got a physical release. Great. And so it is actually debatable that game might be the end. I don't see anything else coming out for it in 2017. I don't think that's going to happen. What little of 2017 is left. And we don't know of anything concrete coming out in 2018. So that was its year. So what's its future? Not much. As I just said, it's possible we'll see another Just Dance game in the future. Maybe. That would be nice. But like I said, beyond that, you don't even get the sports games. And I don't think you're going to get too many more like random movie tie-in games that care about the Wii U at this point. This probably happened on the Wii U because it was already in development at some point. I don't think anybody's devoting resources to that anymore. The only possible exception to that would potentially be the game Axiom Verge, which I'm sure a lot of people have been mentioning in the comments already at this point. Axiom Verge is a cool indie game that has come out already on multiple platforms, including the PC. It's been out on a long time, but also now PS4 and Switch. I think there's an Xbox One version. I'm not 100% on that. But they promise relentlessly there will be a physical Wii U version for sure in Europe, probably North America, probably not Japan. That's what they've been saying. Now, the last time they checked in on that, they kept saying they wanted to do it, but the Wii U version is not listed anywhere. Not in North American retail stores, not even in any European retail stores that I've seen. And so the last time I saw anything about that, they said, well, no retailer's willing to take it. Like even Amazon's not willing to sell it. So it's very possible that Axiom Verge may still happen physically on Wii U. But it might be a European exclusive sold through some strange online system only, maybe through their website directly. So whenever that happens, if you like the Wii U, pay attention, because that'll probably be really hard to find. But beyond that, those possibilities, I see nothing else ever coming to the Wii U. I mean, this is not a console that independent sources can make games for. There's no money to be made on it anymore. It doesn't get the sports games. Things like Disney Infinity and Skylanders and all that stuff is done. I mean, Skylanders might get another game, although I kind of doubt it'll get a Wii U version. But I know like Disney Infinity, that's a done thing. Lego Dimensions, that's a done thing. Those toy ones usually did pretty well in the Wii U, but I think they're all kind of dead. So, yeah, I mean, it's very possible, guys, that Dragon Quest X Japan exclusive is the last real physical Wii U game. And what an unfortunate way to go, because if you were going to take all the time to port it, it would be kind of nice if you brought it around the world, but I guess not. Though I will say, maybe it makes a little bit of sense, because you got to imagine that that game, I think, is online only, and I have to believe that Nintendo is going to shut down all the Wii U servers within the next year. Maybe 2 years at the most, probably maybe even 6 months at the earliest. And they've already started chipping away at it, so it wouldn't surprise me if those come down completely within a year. So, but still, it's fundamentally weird that possibly the last physical Wii U game is an online dependent game that will be very much a coaster very soon. So there's really nothing else to say about its future other than what it will probably become in the collecting market and the retro market. I'm telling you right now that this console will be much more appreciated in like 5-10 years. That's probably when we'll talk about it again, is some sort of recap on the entirety of the generation when it's over, or what this eventually evolved into. I kind of see it going the route of the Sega Saturn, where it was a console absolutely not appreciated at all in its time, except in Japan. Saturn was loved, but here it was not. Europe it really wasn't. Has a lot of great stuff on it that was only available on it. A lot of unique experiences, a lot of fun experiences, just nobody supported it until like years down the road people looked, wow, okay, that console was pretty cool, it had a lot of good stuff on it, and oh, there's only like 240 games, that's interesting. Sound familiar? Like, a lot of that applies to the Wii U. But I will say there are differences. The Saturn had a lot of games exclusively made for it that have literally never been put on anything else. Things like Burning Rangers, Panzer Dragoon Saga, a lot of those games do not exist on other platforms, largely because the Sega Saturn was so complicated to program for. Trying to take those games and put them on anything else would have been hard, but then on top of that, a lot of the source code for games like those were completely lost. They don't exist anymore. Replicating Saturn stuff is still, to this day, proven extraordinarily challenging. Now, the Wii U will be difficult to replicate in the sense that it has like this unique controller system. That can be tricky. The actual hardware, probably not that hard to replicate, PowerPC stuff. But yeah, but the other thing is Nintendo is cherry picking the best of the best from it. So Mario Kart 8, it didn't take very long before Nintendo took that away from the Wii U and gave it to the Switch. Now Pokken, however you pronounce it, Tournament is now available on this. Do not be surprised if we start seeing like Smash Brothers DX and who knows, a lot of Nintendo's biggest Wii U hits. I think its future is those games coming to the Switch. The Wii U is essentially the sacrificial console to boost the Switch. And it's an interesting parallel again to the Sega Saturn, because that's what happened with the Saturn. When Sega buried it, they basically pretended it really never existed. And for all of 1998, they essentially acted, what, we don't have that console, what are you talking about? We're going to do this Dreamcast thing. Remember our last console? That was the Genesis, or Mega Drive. That was the last time we had a console. Now we have Dreamcast. There was nothing in between. Remember nothing? Good, because nothing happened. That's kind of what Nintendo's doing with the Switch relative to the Wii U and the Wii. They're like, remember the Wii and how you liked that? I don't know why you liked that. It was dumb as shit, but you liked it for some reason. You bought it. Anyway, we got the Switch now. Oh look, we have the Zelda game right away. What? Isn't that crazy? That you would never find that anywhere else. No, put that down. You would never find that Zelda game anywhere else. Mario Kart 8, you would never find Mario Kart 8 on anything. Put that down. Don't do that. Mario Kart 8, we have Mario Kart 8 right away, no problem. And Super Mario Odyssey and stuff. Now, Super Mario Odyssey obviously didn't get a Wii U version, but I guarantee you at some point that game was in development for the Wii U. Just saying. So that's the Wii U's final job, was just, and that's something I said a long time ago. I wanted the Wii U to be used to set up the whatever the successor was. At the time, it didn't even have the codename NX name. It was just whatever happens next. And in a fucked up sense, it kind of did that by failing so badly that people don't even remember it existed, yet it created great games that can be ported to its successor. So there you go. I would like to salute the Wii U for the great gaming experiences that it gave to me. It was a fun time. I hope you guys appreciated it. If you haven't, check it out. It is awesome, and now's the time to get into it, because even though Wii U hardware is still expensive, the games aren't, for the most part. It is the time to jump on that. I picked up a second Wii U not too long ago just because I know in the future they're not going to be easy to get, man. Especially with functional tablets, or fucking gamepads, not going to be easy. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all later.